Welcome to the Cabinet meeting today. Welcome to Cabinet members and officers joining us in the room, and also a councillor in the public gallery there. We've got Cabinet member Craig Skeldin for Leisure and Culture, Jill Heatham for Community Safety, David Hutchins for Sustainable Environment, Deputy Leader and Town Centres and Finance, Stephen Sweeney, and I'm Leader Simon Tagg. We have apologies today from Councillor Andy Fear, who can't be here today. But other than that, we're all in attendance. Item 2 is declarations of interest. Do we have any 4 items on the agenda, members? Not seeing any. Item 3 is minutes of the previous meeting. They're attached on page 5 to 12. Can we agree those as a correct record? Thank you. That brings us to item 4, which is Wally's Quarry odour issues update. And as we always say at this point, first item on our agenda is still monitoring the situation at Wally's Quarry. And a much improved situation as we've seen previously, and this report will echo that as well. But I'll hand over to the Chief Executive to give an outline of the report. Gordon.
Thank you, Leader. This report sets out activity in the last month in respect of Wally's Quarry. I'd probably draw members' attention to the section on complaints and odour assessments. In September, we had 1 complaint. Officers investigated that. They were unable to reach a firm conclusion on the source of that complaint. We continue to monitor and continue to encourage the community to report anything both to ourselves and to the Environment Agency. During September, odour assessments were carried out and no odour was detected across the 7 locations that officers undertook those assessments. Section 2 sets out details of the works that the Environment Agency and their contractors continue to carry out on site. These works will continue and as we previously stated, will continue to closely monitor over the autumn-winter period, alongside the work that we're now starting to do with a multi-agency approach looking to the future of the site. Probably also draw members' attention to the fact that we're now 1 year on from the Committee of Inquiry findings. So the Committee of Inquiry took place last summer in summer 2024. And those recommendations that had come back from Committee of Inquiry are listed at 2.30, along with a progress update. Obviously, recommendation 0 from the Committee of Inquiry was to serve a closure notice to commence the process of the site being closed. That happened on the 28th of November, and a lot of the action that's happened since obviously spans from that activity. So happy to take any questions on those points and where we are. And obviously, as I say, that's part of a continuing story where we're continuing to support the actions on site to mitigate the immediate risks, continue to monitor and move forward with plans for future restoration. Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. I think the photos in the report really encouraging, showing the site, largely capped, and we know now capped to a good standard, which has never been the case, I believe, in the past, as we've seen from the emissions that have been escaping from capping in the past that have been highlighted by the EA and the breaches on the previous operator of the site. So really, really pleased to see that. I think for me, obviously, we look to the future. We've seen low complaints, we've seen low monitoring data coming up, and we know that we're in this recovery phase now. It's good to see the council leading in that sort of body that's been set up now to take it forward. But I think, as we said at full council, as we've said recently at cabinets as well, it's all about, I think, the government stepping now, enabling the funding for this site to be fully capped and restored. There's also the call for the public inquiry, which of course came from council on a number of occasions dating back many months, and attached to the agenda is the letter from the new minister, Mary Craig, CBE. And unfortunately, I'll just read a little bit to you there. My position has not changed in respect to granting the public inquiry. Since her last letter, the EAS complied with environmental law and has fulfilled its statutory duties in regulating Wally's Quarry. and so on. I think we could discuss that till the cows come home and actually say that is not our view, that the Environment Agency has fulfilled its obligations, and I still believe that I think public inquiry is the way forward, so we can learn the lessons from this, not just for the people here in Newcastle, but for other areas that may suffer the same in the future. Those problems weren't addressed early enough. The population wasn't listened to early enough, and led us to 2, 3, 4 years of a lot of harm and distress for local residents, and that needs to be looked into, and a reason found for that, and people held to account for that as well, I believe, whether they're still at the Environment Agency or not, or whether it's the former operator or not, is something which the public need to know about, and need to know that it's been investigated fully. And looks as if this current Secretary of State isn't willing to do that. We have contacted our MP on numerous occasions. I think I'm right in saying we haven't had a particular response on this one yet. I think when I presented the leader's statement to council a week or two ago, it was in there about we were waiting to see if our MP would back us on this and respond, and he hasn't. So I just think we need to keep hammering that drum, banging that drum, hammering that door to try and get that public inquiry, so we can get a full review of this, and a closure of some of our residents. I mean, a lot of them now gone back to their lives now, quite rightly so. They don't have to be on the phone. They don't have to be on social media pressing people to do something. Something has happened. Obviously, the site is now closed, and work has been done on the site that is made it safe for the moment. And the long-term goal is the full restoration of the site as well. But that's still a goal to be achieved. But in the meantime, the government could show some respect for the people of Newcastle and launch, or at least give us a timescale for a public inquiry. Steve.
Yeah, along a similar line, the one that really disappoints you is I'm not convinced of the benefits of holding such an inquiry, and believe our efforts are best focused on addressing the problems of risk. Well, that's the second part here. But I'm not convinced of the benefits of holding such an inquiry. Well, we held an inquiry. It might not happen again. And it might not happen to other areas of this country. They're blighted by this sort of thing. I mean, we can't be unique. And I'd thought a public inquiry on this to try to find out all the things that went wrong with everybody concerned, especially the Environment Agency and Wally's Quarry would be an excellent way of going about it to stop it happening again. I think our people should have the right to that, and I think they should have the satisfaction of hearing that people are being held to account for the disgusting state of this quarry for the last 4 or 5 years. Thank you, Leader.
Jill.
Yeah, I'd agree with the comments made by the Leader and the Deputy Leader. I'm very disappointed in the response from Mary Cree and seemingly the lack of support from our local MP. I would expect we would get that support from them going forward.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, obviously, this is a watching brief. This will be the first item on our agenda for the foreseeable future. We are entering the period now when odours have been at their worst in previous years. So it's really we're entering this autumn period with complaints, minimal, and also monitoring equipment decreased massively to zeros in many respects, isn't it? Which is what we've been looking for on the site. But the goal, as we say, long-term goal is that restoration and capping the site. And this cabinet and this council, I think all members of this council will stand together to try and achieve that for our residents going forward, because we deserve nothing less. So the recommendations is in the report. We note the contents and the update. We've done that. All agreed? Agreed. That then brings us to our next item, which is the creation of Lyme Park Country Park. And David's going to introduce this report. David.
Yeah, thank you, Leader. The creation of the Lyme Park, Countryside Park at Cale, is a really exciting project. From an environmental point of view, the site incorporates vast swathes of woodland and mature trees, which are already there, including the commemorative and growing lime forest, which was established to celebrate the borough's 850th anniversary. The site also will include appropriate walking and cycling routes, which will promote sustainable travel options. And the site enables us to safeguard biodiversity and the natural ability of trees to capture vast stores of carbon. As you'll read in the report, the development of the community asset will be in 3 distinct phases: short, medium, and the long term. In the short term, the site has been brought into the council's existing grassland management strategy, which is now in its 3rd phase, and the tree stock is now being managed through the council's existing tree management strategy. The second stage will then focus on effective site management during the housing development, as well as delivering recommendations from the master plan exercise, such as additional infrastructure, which will be funded by developer contributions. Meanwhile, the third phase looks at how the area will be managed once the new homes are built. And I really do welcome the Lyme Park Countryside Park. It's just, yeah, I'm really excited at this project. Yeah.
Thank you, David. Yeah, back you on that. I think already it's a large green space that is used by the public, and it's really key that 2/3 of the 69-acre site will be protected as a countryside park and enhanced where appropriately to make it better for visitors to use and for the public to use the existing footpaths across and everything. And as you say, when the housing developments, those small housing developments do come online, they will be sympathetic to and be protecting the country park as well, which I think is a really good development and a great addition to the many green spaces across Newcastle, and also protected for the long term as well, not only local plan but in our council policy as well, which is really important. Over to comments now from other members. Steve.
I agree with everything you both said. I think it's quite an exciting plan. Stage one of it is obviously turning into the country park, and that's well along the way. And little pockets of housing, I think it's an excellent idea. It's a good use for redundant golf course, and it's fully support it. Perhaps not as excited as David's, but it's Dave's sort of into that thing a bit more than I am. But no, it's good news.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from Cabinet members? Okay, David, you've obviously moved those recommendations in front of us. All agreed? Thank you. That then moves us to our next item, which is Green Space Protection Update, item 6. And David, you're leading on this one.
Yeah, thank you, Leader. The Green Space Protection Update provides Cabinet with an update on the work underway by the Council to support fields and trust applications which allow a permanent status for green spaces and carbon capture areas over and above allocations in the local plan and the green space strategy. The Council, under the Fields and Trust, the Council sought to secure sites for open space, for tree planting, which it hopes will be permanent features of the Council's green spaces and wider environment. The Fields and Trust status gives these sites permanent protection as green spaces and thus secures the long-term aspiration for these sites. I think we've now submitted 24 Fields and Trust applications, including Arnold Grove at Bradwell, Chesterton Park, Sandy Lane Space, which is one of my favourite green spaces, Clough Hall Park, the Whammy, Thistlebury Parkway, and so on, which is really exciting news that these spaces can be protected in perpetuity. We also have in their support an update as to how we're doing regarding the Village Green applications. We have 8 applications in at the moment, although one I think has been rejected. 4 have been approved and 3 are currently still pending, requiring more information. So it's hoping that these Village Green applications and Fields and Trust will protect our green spaces so that they can never be built upon. I think all our residents love to see green spaces, and I think it's fantastic that our team is doing such a great deal of work to make sure that these spaces are protected. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you, David. I think a lot of these sites we've talked about over the last 20 odd years, some have been in asset disposal plans, some have even had planning applications out against them under previous administrations. But I'm pleased now we're putting those problems and threats to bed on all of these sites. I think when we talk about the Fields in Trust and the Village Green, they actually complement each other. Sites can have both as long as they meet both criteria, and that's why it's really important that we do, as it says under recommendation 2, note that the Sandy Lane Village Green application status is going to an inquiry, and that this council will support that inquiry as the landowner, so that we can get that village green status in place. Already in place on a number of others, as you pointed out. 3 in my ward actually: Clayton Field, Repton Drive, and Winchester Drive, which are protected now as village green status, which is really good for the local community there, and hard work that they've put in to achieve that. And let's hope we get Sandy Lane over the line in January. And we also get these applications through. I think we probably put the Fields of trust under a little bit of pressure over the last few months by putting so many applications in. But I feel when we moved that we wanted to go down the route of Fields and Trust in the summer, is that we're up against a time limit ourselves, because we want to protect these green spaces before the government get their way and merge our council out of existence. Because I don't think that a council, for example, based in Stoke, which is what the government and the Labour Party want to force upon us, will take those green spaces as to their hearts as we have here, and we'll see them as just green spaces to be built on for them to bring income in and meet their larger housing figures that they wish to bring on our borough. So I think this double track approach is sensible and follows on from your previous item, David, of the country park at Lyme Park is a really important step in the right direction. We hope people will see and appreciate that we're doing all we can to save the green space for the future, while also through our local plan providing the homes and the housing that's needed, particularly on brownfield sites. We've got an item later on disposal of some brownfield sites that shows we wish to build new houses in the borough to meet our allocations, but we don't want to be on our treasured urban green spaces, which are the lungs of the local community. Over to now to comments or questions, Jill.
Yeah, I fully support the protected green spaces and tree planting. This can only enhance our borough. The Fields and Trust status gives permanent protection for protected green spaces. And I commend this and thank officers and councillors for their work around this, particularly where they've identified sites that could be ideal for this status.
Steve.
Yeah, just agree with what everybody said. It's great to see. Obviously, Lyme Valley is a jewel in Newcastle's crown, as I keep saying. But it's split in two, Clayton and Town Ward. The river is actually the border between the two, and it's great to see both sides of the river being protected in perpetuity. So whatever happens with the takeover with Stoke, they won't be able to do anything with these. These will stay as green spaces and be protected forever. And I think it's an excellent result for this council. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. No other comments. So recommendations moved by David, all agreed. Okay, that brings us to item 7, UK Shared Prosperity update. Really pleased to bring this update. As people will be aware, there's the multi-million-pound investment started on the previous government to the future, UK Shared Prosperity Fund. We've had that many, I will get them wrong. We've had Future High Streets Fund, we've had Town Deal, Homes England funding, which I wanted to talk about, and also we've got UK Shared Prosperity funding. So £4.8 million worth of schemes and a further £1.5 million into the area in the final phase. So 25 projects were earmarked for delivery this year. 6 new initiatives focus on creative industries and the digital innovation. These include Honey Box Project, with the help from securing art grant funding as well from Grassroots Music Development, who will accumulate in a music awards show in the new Vic later. Other highlights include a pilot on carbon calculator development for the Cyberkill student placements through partnerships with Keele and Staffordshire University, and a dedicated business advisor appointed to the Staffordshire Growth Hub. So looking at jobs, skills, the environment, and all of the things that tick the boxes for this UK Shared Prosperity Fund. So we're on track to deliver these projects. Report details more and more projects if people want to have a look at those. And the programme is involved 455 businesses, helping 189 entrepreneurs, and reached over 1,000 people through business support initiatives. So really good. It's covered the entire borough. There's things, improvements to Clough Hall Park, creation and management of 14 community facilities elsewhere in the borough. So I think we can see this. We've got the spread of this across the borough, and also got the bang for the buck out of this. And as you can see in the report, there's a full list of projects there that allow us to say that we've made the best of that government funding, which of course was originally from the money that came back from leaving the European Union. It was the rejigged money we used to give to Brussels that was then got a little bit of it back, while the rest was spent in Eastern Europe. Now we can spend all of that money on ourselves. So that's what's happened over the last few years with this. And just finally is of course the green side of this, David, is the planting of trees throughout the borough on the back of using some of this funding as well, which has helped us to plant more trees, such as the 850 and Forest. Talking about Lyme Park, that's where that was, of course, in Silverdale a few years ago. So you can see the benefits of this funding throughout the borough, and I commend it and commend the report to members. and open it to any comments. Steve.
I'll say what I always say on this sort of issue. It's great to see how this council's used the money and got the money out through the door and make it work for people, as opposed to just sitting, leaving it in the bank. It's great that we use it and use it so quickly. Thank you.
Okay, David.
Yeah, as you said, Leader, this money basically covers the whole of the borough. No one has been left out. We've had green space improvements, approximately 700 square metres of green space has been approved, and there's been a focus on enhancing Clough Hall Park, which is great news as well. Improvements including sports facilities, play areas, and planting schemes. So it's great news that the green space improvements have included the whole of the borough.
Thank you. So obviously the recommendations, we acknowledge the contents of the report we've talked about and some of the schemes that have been delivered via this funding, and we authorise the Deputy Chief Executive in consultation with myself to confirm any further projects on the funding, and then receive further updates on delivery of the fund and subsequent funding programmes beyond March 2026. Of course, we're all waiting to see whether there is any further funding on that. That's down to the new government to carry this on. It was obviously brought in by the old government, so let's hope it does, because we can see, as you see in the report, the benefit of that funding over the last few years, and may we have more of that. We will make the use of it and as best we can to improve and help to move our borough forward. All agree with the recommendations? Thank you. Okay, that brings us to item 8, which is the Business Improvement District reballot, which comes to us every 5 years, I think it is, isn't it, the reballot, and it's due to take place this autumn. So we've been asked as obviously a key partner in the town centre of the bid, and also a levy payer of a number, I think it's about 14 different properties, and such things as the market car parks. They all have a business rate element, which also has a bid levy element, and we therefore have to make a decision whether we support the bid to continue. And I say the bid over the last few years has really come into its own. I think you see more and more activities from the bid that are enhancing the town centre. Of course, we know they do the Christmas lights switch on. Without the bid, there would not be any Christmas lights switch on in the town anymore. Those days are long gone when councils can afford to do that. I think what they do is they do a brilliant event on that day, which has really gathered momentum over the years, and I think that's something key. But also when they obviously interact with their businesses, and we had on Friday, so I think Steve went along to it, was the Love NUL Awards, which was giving businesses that have excelled over the last year an award and recognition for that, and for businesses within the town. And to see some of the winners there just shows some of the vibrant businesses we do have in the borough, and they're helped along the way by the Business Improvement District. I think it's really key that we keep the Business Improvement District in place. They support the Limelight Festival, they support other activities in the town centre as well, and also, as I say, give that support to businesses as well, to ensure that they are able to make the most of their business activities within the town in what is a difficult period for town centres. And also the bid are obviously heavily supporting our regeneration projects in the borough. The 3 main projects that we're working on, the Rycroft, Astley Place and Midway, and their support on that is really crucial to ensure we move forward on those projects to completion, which will help the footfall in the town by people living, working around the town centre, and that will help all the businesses within the town centre to thrive. So no problem in moving the recommendations that we note the requirements of the council to operate the ballot, which of course we do in line with the regulations covering bid ballots. I note the bid proposals and the bid business plan and aims and objectives for the new bid duration from 26 to 31. They're attached to the report, and we support the bid in its efforts for a successful ballot outcome, and that will mean me also authorising me to vote in favour of bid renewal, which we can agree hopefully after we've had some comments and questions. Steve.
Yeah, thank you. I went to the bid awards on Friday night with Councillor Eastham and Mr. Mulder, and the thing that was almost moving really was the love and passion that people have for Newcastle-under-Lyme, for the borough. They really are proud to live and work in Newcastle-under-Lyme, and to run a business in Newcastle-under-Lyme. Really, it was almost humbling, really, watching these people who are so passionate about Newcastle, and I think is it the poet laureate from Stoke or something was there. It was actually a Newcastle-under-Lyme, and he did a poem about Newcastle, and it was tremendous. He read a few more out, and it was just really, it got you going. You know what a great place Newcastle is, and these people there are so proud of Newcastle, and I think it was tremendous. It was a well-run event, but it was mainly that passion that people have for the borough. It was really, really quite touching.
Very good. Any other comments? No. Okay, so recommendation before us, as I've read out, do we all support those? And good luck to the bid and their renewal. Thank you. That leads us then to our next item, is item 9, Kidsgrove train station update. Really pleased to bring this next instalment of the down the track to get our new, obviously refurbished train station in Kidsgrove. The revised plans for the modernised train station in the north of Newcastle-under-Lyme is now moving to the next stage on its completion with the plans which are detailed in the report. Of course, we know it's a part of the Kidsgrove Town Deal funding, which was that £16.9 million from the government. We had plans, obviously, for a much larger scheme, which would involve bringing the former car park back into use, but that government funding was not made available for any of the remedial works on that. So what we've done is rejigged with East Midlands Railway and National Rail for a viable alternative to the original plans, which will mean a refurbishment of the station, which will, as you can see from the artist impressions that are in the report and also available on the website, will be a really good improvement to that station and a gateway, as it is to the borough in the north there, for us, and will also be a gateway into the new sort of developments that are taking place with the services hub and the enterprise units and the public realm improvements up into Kidsgrove town centre. So I think it's real good improvement. Really pleased that we managed to get through some of the barriers that were put in place, and we can continue to deliver on this key plank of the Kidsgrove Town Deal when it was first brought into place, 5-6 years ago now. And so really pleased with the report that we can bring today, and that we support the recommendations which are in the report, which are that we note the current proposals for the station project, note the government funding implications for town deals and the implications for the projects currently in delivery. That means we can make local decisions now without having to refer back to the government on changing of some of the money within the funds. That gives us more flexibility, which allows us to make the changes we want to make to the plans for Kidsgrove Station. And that we recognise the strategic significance of the investment in the station and approve the revised scheme to progress. And we authorise the Deputy Chief Executive in consultation with myself and the Deputy Leader to vary the current grant funding agreement with East Midlands Railway to enable the project to be delivered. So I'll open it up now to questions and comments. Craig.
Thank you, Leader. It is a shame to see that some of the funding was withdrawn, and but we're not dwelling on that. It's good to see this report making such good use of the funding that is available under the town deal, and it's great news to see the project moving forward. Kidsgrove train station is it's a small train station, but it's a very busy train station, and it's used by many residents of Kidsgrove and the surrounding areas. It also provides easy access to many routes without having to travel across the city to Stoke train station, and many of these travellers are commuting to work and also coming back into Kidsgrove as well. So I really do welcome this upgrade to the station. Now, previously we have had an upgrade to the bridge, which has proved a massive success. I mean, many times I've ran over that old bridge and missed a train. It's unbelievable how many you can't count. But the new lift system, it looks good. It's got a good feel about it. And this project can provide that same good feel factor about Kidsgrove train station. Under the new project, it's a shame about there's no extension to the car park, but redevelopment of the current car park, it can provide up to 12 more car parking spaces, 7 of which can be EV charging point stations. The work on the waiting room, it can facilitate a kitchen, which means we maybe look towards getting a cafe involved in there, and it'll give the Kidsgrove train station will have a totally new look about it. Also, the digital timetable boards will be installed, and I just look forward to see this project progress. I do look forward to using the train station more once it's completed. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. So move the recommendations. All agreed? Thank you. That now brings us to item 10, which is asset disposal of off-street parking places order 2025, and Steve's leading on this one.
Okay, thank you, Leader. 1.1, it says the asset management strategy 23-28 sets out assets to be considered for disposal. The strategy contained the car parks at Blackfriars Road, King Street part of, and Garden Street Bankside, which will be considered surplus once the Newcastle car park multi-storey facility in the town centre was open. Well, it is open, so these sites are now surplus. The sites, Blackfriars Road, Newcastle, that's basically next to the Honda garage. It's quite a car park, hardly anybody ever uses it. King Street, that's a more popular car park. We're still going to leave 60 places on there and just look at develop one end of it. And the last one is Garden Street Bankside in Newcastle Town Centre. That's no one ever uses that car park really. I think our officers checked on it for a week, so maybe 2 hours for a day, and they kept it going for a week and they didn't see a car park on there at all. So I think it's good to think. The thing that concerns me really though is you see people up on, say, the former golf course at Keele perhaps, talking about we shouldn't be building on green spaces, we should be building on brownfield sites. And then strangely enough, the same people are saying we shouldn't be building on brownfield sites in Newcastle, such as the Bankside one, which seems a bit bizarre for me. There's a few other little bits and bobs. There's a garage in the middle of Beckers Grove, Brown Servicing King Street, which was shut years ago and is getting pulled down, and get a car park, temporary car park put on that, while we redo the ones on Heathcote Street and get them up to proper standards. So there's other bits and bobs, but it's the 3 big car parks really that the report is mainly aimed at, and it's part of our management strategy that we get rid of these things when the car park's being built, the new one, and I'm happy to support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Yes, I think you made a good point about obviously brownfield sites or what people want us to develop, and we're bringing those forward here. And it's just surprising when some people take a negative view on green space being used in favour of brownfield, when brownfield is brought forward near to where they live. They don't want that to happen, which is, where do we then build these houses that they are forcing on us? Because I know some of these support the Labour Party and also support our Labour MP that is bringing forward 2,000 more homes needed in Newcastle Borough under their new forced housing targets. So it is amazing when people take these positions. But I think what we've done here is looked very pragmatically at parking. We've built a new car park to facilitate the development of the Rycroft, and also that will lead to the Midway with those exciting plans for the accommodation there. We also now look at the use of car parks. We have very busy car parks around town. We're not looking to change any of those others. What we're looking to do is bring those underutilised ones and part underutilised ones into the housing stock for town centre living, sustainable living, and not far along Garden Street. There are already some housing developments taking place on brownfield sites that have been very nice starter homes for people, and we hope that we can do the same on these sites now as well. But I think one of the main drivers has been for us is ensuring we do have enough car parking spaces, and that's why, for example, in the King Street car park up by the Borough Arms there, we are leaving a significant amount of spaces there because we know they're needed there, and they are needed in other areas around the town centre as well. So I think it's a pragmatic approach, and something which residents should get behind. It's saving our green spaces and helping us to meet our housing targets, and also fulfilling our ambition of a town centre for all that's got people living and working around it, and then come in and support our shops and our traders, which is what we all want to see, a more vibrant town centre. So happy to support the recommendations. Any other comments, David?
Yeah, thank you, Leader. Today's Cabinet agenda shows that we really do protect our green spaces, whether it be the Lyme Park, Countryside Park, we've got the Fields and Trust. We really are working. We got the Village Green applications in there as well. So we really are protecting the green spaces. So it's right that if any houses, we look towards the brownfield sites. And then the car parks that I mentioned in the report, we'd be reducing the cost of looking after the council-owned land and the property, and we'll be raising some funds that we can use with the council's capital programme. So I'm in favour of this option. Thanks very much.
Any other comments? No. Okay, recommendations before us, as outlined by Steve, all agreed. Great. Thank you. That then moves us to item number 11, which is our forward plan. Let's find that one there for us. Obviously, the first few pages cover this meeting where we've delivered the items we said we were going to bring. And then, of course, our next meeting will be on October the 4th, where we've got the fleet vehicle maintenance procurement, Wallace Quarry update, local government organisation and East devolution update, contract award for J2 main pool roof, and then also the Bradwell Dingle recreation facilities, Newcastle bus station upgrade, and then the housing and homelessness strategy. So a busy November meeting, and then we're into December with Q2 performance, Wallace Quarry update, first draft of the savings proposals of the budget setting, Newcastle town deal update, revenue and capital strategies, and scales of fees and charges goes into January, and then also Wallace Quarry update in January as well. So a busy 3 months ahead for Cabinet. Can we agree the forward plan? Thank you. Item 12 is urgent business. I've not received any urgent business. Item 13 will be disclosure of information, but I should say before we do that, we haven't had any requests by the public or councillors to speak at Cabinet. So I'll now move that the public be excluded for the so we can look at the confidential items. I resolve that the public be excluded for the meeting during the consideration of two reports. One is the asset disposal off-street parking places confidential part of the report, and then a renewal report for the CAB back office management system for the waste and recycling service, again because of the confidential nature of that report. All agreed? Thank you.